That's all cut out.
We got the 10 minutes, excusez-moi, Jordan, 10 minutes Swiss custom chit-chat.
But all right, we're talking Hannibal today.
We're talking the Hannibal series, the 4 movies. We're not talking Hannibal Rising.
I was gonna ask you, because I did see that when I was like just Googling it. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but and I haven't been interested, honestly, except for watching the show. It does delve into, I guess, some of the story from that book and that movie, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, like it goes into his past a little bit. The show, it introduces a character which is his aunt, but she's like younger than him. She's Asian. I don't know, but yeah, I'll watch it someday. No rush.
Is it?
It's just supposed to be a generic. It's Hannibal Begins, basically.
Who plays Hannibal?
I don't know. Some guy.
I'm not gonna Google it, but yeah,
some guy.
Whatever.
But yeah, we'll be talking the Hannibal series, starting with Manhunter, going to The Silence of the Lambs, then 2001's Hannibal, then 2002's Red Dragon, which is a remake of Manhunter.
I will say, just preface it. Hannibal's probably the one I saw it. I watched it all the way through. But it's just it's just a mishmash that I couldn't make ones and twos of. To be honest.
That's totally fair. I love that movie, but yeah, for years I had denied myself loving that movie because it's just so gross and trashy. But once I got onto the Ridley Scott wavelength of like the Counselor, Alien Covenant, then I was like, then it really unlocked Hannibal for me. It's that Ridley cynicism, and stupidity that he occasionally has crop up in his movies.
Definitely stupidity. I'm hoping to see that stupidity in the Napoleon movie. I really hope we get some.
I'm hoping. That
would be great.
Yeah, but
it's quick detour. I don't know if this is fake, but apparently there's like a note or a letter that was sent to Napoleon's wife that says like, "I'm coming home. Don't wash." I don't know what we want to do with that, but it just...
I hope that's in the movie.
I hope so, too.
and I hope they don't do something like they did in Marie Antoinette, where when they do the let them eat cake, and then they get very meta with it, and they're like, it cuts to Kirsten Dunst, and she's like, I would never say that. If it cuts to Joaquin Phoenix saying, oh, I would never say that. Be a little
Wouldn't
upset.
that be a funny thing to say to my wife?
Oh, okay. Best movie of the year right there.
I was kidding, though. Oh, you sent it? Whatever.
As a joke.
Yes. Send a second letter. That's JK.
It was the letter that they send, like it's a decoy letter in case, like, the enemy captures,
And the next one was actual war plans.
Yeah. Like, this horn dog Napoleon again.
Gross. Ew, dude.
He's got some weird kinks. I mean, I'm not one for kink shaming.
But where do we want to start? Because I feel like if we start with if we go chronologically, this movie release, if we start with Manhunter, it's going to be hard to not dive into also Red Dragon. Should we start there? Or
I was thinking, because after we saw Manhunter back in August, I went through them chronologically, so we could go Manhunter, Red Dragon, Silence, then Hannibal.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
So
because we could do the 1-to-1 comparisons to Red Dragon and Manhunter.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess Manhunter is the one I saw. Like that, it's been the longest since I've seen it, but I've seen it twice now. So I mean, you go ahead and start. This is your number one, number three movie?
Man, so I saw Manhunter back in high school. I think I was a junior. Yeah, I copped it off of Amoeba. And that was the first time I actually watched it, where in the past, you remember AMC Fear Fest, Monster Fest?
Yeah.
During October, they just play random horror movies, and I remember distinctly before going to bed one night, just having the channel on, and just seeing that opening scene where he's creeping up the stairs, the POV, and then it goes into the bedroom, and you just see the woman just slowly starting to wake up, and then wakes up, and then Manhunter.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I can't watch this. I can't even go to bed now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when I actually sat down to watch it in like 2012, man, it just warped my whole world. Since then, yeah, it's been my favorite movie ever. Revealing more and more layers as time goes on. Manhunter from 1986, directed by Michael Mann. Starring William Peterson, Tom Noonan, and Brian.
Also played one of the sticky bandits in Home Alone. Sorry. Sorry. It was just I knew. So okay, I know it's a running joke that I always mess up actors, but that one, when I saw the actor, I was like, I know it's not that guy, but it is that guy. He's a very prominent actor.
Yeah, William Peterson. He.
I was talking about the Home Alone guy. What's his name?
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. I'm sorry. Okay, we can move on. I'm sorry.
For a second there, I really thought you were like you actually thought that.
No. I think I brought it up.
You brought it up before, but yeah, I'd forgotten about it. Yeah. But so yeah, it's based on the novel Red Dragon from Thomas Harris, which that's the only Hannibal book I've read. I'm actually rereading it, in the process of rereading it. So I intend to read the rest of the novels eventually. But,
wait, quick question though. As far as like the books, do you know the books chronology? Like when did he write it in chronological order? Or was it?
Yes, yeah. He wrote it in chronological order. Red
except
Dragon,
Rising, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Rising. Okay, I'll run through this really quick. Red Dragon, I think, came out in like 81. And then Manhunter was made in 86, and then Silence of the Lambs, I believe, was published in 88.
Okay.
So after Manhunter, and
that's always cool when that happens.
Yeah. So you get the benefit of hindsight there, And then Hannibal was written, I want to say, in the late 90s.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, dude.
Dude, when we get into Hannibal, I'll have to, because the show gets into a lot of the crazier shit that the book does. We'll get into that later. And then Hannibal Rising was actually, from what I've read and heard on other podcasts, that was basically written so they could just cash in on another movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I guess we can get into the storyline here.
Why are you looking at me like
you're the producer? Anyways. So Manhunter, it starts, and Will Graham, he's the man who captured notorious cannibal and murderer Hannibal Lecter. I believe it's 3 years after that it starts. He's approached by his former boss Jack Crawford, played by the great Dennis Farina, from another Chicago guy. Yeah, should I do the Chicago accent?
I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, it's decent.
So he goes, "Hey, Will."
Not the whole time.
So there's this guy, the Tooth Fairy. He's killing families. Okay, I'll stop. So there's this murderer out there, the Tooth Fairy. He murders whole families. He's murdered 2 families by the time he's approached Will. And he's approaching Will, a former profiler for the FBI. Because Will has this gift that he can empathize. He can get into the side of the mind of a killer. And he's very reluctant to, because getting into Hannibal's head really fucked him up. Not only capturing Hannibal scarred him physically, he was attacked, but the mental scars lingered much farther. And I mean, that's the setup there.
Yeah. So he's brought in to he's pretty much a hired gun.
Yeah.
And he's not supposed to.
Yeah, he's not supposed to
do
get
much.
too deep.
But of course, there's always a scene of like, you promise your wife, it's just a little thing.
Yeah, just a little thing.
It's just a little thing I got to do real quick. And then of course he gets obsessed and he gets into the mindset.
He talks in too deep. Yeah.
And like the running. I mean, aside from the Hannibal movie, the the titular moments in all these movies is the detective going to speak to Hannibal and get information.
Yeah, those are the centerpieces.
Yeah, and
which fucking so it starts off and he visits the freshest crime scene, which is the lead's house, and really really dope scene. It actually it well, what's interesting is the aforementioned opening scene that scarred me in my youth. Um it that the way that sequence looks, it looks like it's maybe shot on VHS.
Yeah, it looks like a home recording.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which
very well could be. I think.
Yeah, which you later realize Francis Dollarhide has been filming or at least photographing these murders.
Yeah.
And then
sorry, did you just not refer him as the Tooth Fairy? You refer
to him as Dollarhide.
His Catholic name.
You could call it. He's got 3 names here, man. It's gonna go all over the place here. So after visiting the crime scene, he realizes he's gonna have to do a lot more, and he's gonna have to get the scent back, as he says. So he's gonna have to see Hannibal face to face, and that's when you get to Brian Cox's Hannibal, who incredible.
I've been chomping at the bit to get into comparisons, but we can't go any further now.
Yeah.
Brian Cox's Hannibal, it's actually riveting. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Anthony Hopkins' legendary performance as Hannibal, but the sheer Anthony Hopkins has some pompousness to his character, and to the point it becomes comical.
Yeah, very much so. Especially once you get to Hannibal and Red Dragon. It's camp.
But maybe Cox would have ended up that way.
Maybe.
But we just don't have that benefit of knowing that.
And there's going to be more.
And he's just purely creepy and scary intelligent to the like his steely gaze at Graham is just, it's piercing. Like I had the benefit of seeing it at the New Beverly for the first time. Like, that was amazing. But every time he spoke, I felt like I felt the fear of his. I was lingering on every word.
Yeah.
He could convince me to commit a murder, I bet.
Absolutely.
I get why cults happen.
It's very easy to get onto one of those. Yeah.
But
did you?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins, which we'll, as I always say, we'll get into it later. But Anthony Hopkins, he's very much into like a classic movie monster type mold.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's awesome. It works perfectly for those movies. But the way that Michael Mann approaches Hannibal and Manhunter, Michael Mann heavily researches criminals and cops. So he we'll get into it more later. But the Q&A where Mann was speaking that I saw him at, he mentioned this real serial killer. Serial killer, I believe in SoCal somewhere.
It wasn't the actual Hannibal. It wasn't the serial killer that was based off Hannibal, was it?
He
was from Mexico. Probably wasn't.
Oh, you know what? There's something there. I don't know much about it, but I know what you're grabbing on.
Well, like there. Really, okay. Just a quick sidebar. The Hannibal is based on a real serial killer and cannibal person. And there's a lot of discrepancies, of course. It's not a direct, like the writer made his own story.
Yeah.
But the big thing where is the line about I ate his liver with a nice Chianti.
That's right.
That is what the actual serial killer said at one. That's really all.
I'm sure he pronounced Chianti correctly.
Chianti, all right.
Yeah. But Mann was talking about how this real serial killer that I believe he had. Either was writing him letters or he did meet him face to face. He based his pretty much his whole pathology off of this guy, and even to the point where this killer confided in him that he he had fantasies about this woman that he saw, and he had this love song in his head, and the love song in his head was Inagata Devita. Yeah, which
wait, I'm sorry. You wiped my brain with that one. What was he doing while he was just staring at a girl?
He was just staring at a girl, and in his head, much like in the movie when Dollarhide sees the woman, not kissing the guy. Yeah, Strong as I Am plays, maybe be a little too on the nose to put Inagata Devita in there. But yeah, man, Brian Cox, back to Cox, man. Give me more of that Cox. Yeah, he's just a more like if I was Clarice in Silence of the Lambs, I mean granted it's different, the gender roles and everything, But like that Hannibal, if he was talking to me like, you know what, man, fuck this guy. I don't need to solve any murders, man. I don't need this shit. He's making fun of my shoes and shit.
Okay, we're jumping to Silence.
We're jumping.
I'll jump back to that. But one thing that's like crazy about Hannibal, in my opinion, is that he was actually like a very like successful comedian in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, and he actually had like the bit that ended up getting Bill Cosby arrested.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I'm serious.
Wait, Bill Cosby was arrested because of a bit?
No.
Oh, Spanish Fly?
Hannibal got, just like the Tooth Fairy. Just like
you completely broke me on this.
Enough of that. We'll get into it later.
Please.
But okay, so just to go back on Brian Cox, like to comparing him to Anthony Hopkins, like you said, Anthony Hopkins was like a
classic movie monster.
A monster.
Yeah.
Cox was a human.
He's a dude. He seems like a real dude. Yeah.
And that added some fear to it. It's like he's a big man. Like I don't know if he's actually a large person.
Brian Cox?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He looked hulking and massive. Mm-hmm. And it was very a demanding presence in it compared to Graham in all those scenes. And then just another thing to compare Red Dragon, like we're not even gonna have anything to talk about Red Dragon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But the scene where he gets the phone call and he messes with the phone where in Manhunter, he actually opens up the back of the phone and starts doing like actual technical stuff.
He's fucking with the wires.
But then like Anthony Hopkins is just doing like Morse code on. It's like why would that be a feature of that phone?
I know. Was this a thing in the 90s?
No.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
It was just lazy writing. That's all it was.
There's a little bit of that in Red Dragon.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
But who was the actor that played the Tooth Fairy?
Tom Noonan. Tom Noonan. Yeah.
Great. It's hard to compare his character to Fiennes.
Yeah.
Just because Fiennes got so much more.
He got so much more like dialogue and
for better or worse. Fiennes, I think this is where our opinions kind of differ. I thought Fiennes was fantastic. I do agree that the writing could have been better to keep a little bit the cards closer to the chest on his character. But I guess it's because I had seen Manhunter already, so I understood the character.
But you wanted to know a little more about
it. Was cool knowing a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that was about
that's
it.
Fair. That's fair.
But I was very sad we didn't get the stocking over the face.
Yeah, you get like a mesh sack over his head, like a beanie. While he's bench pressing.
Yeah,
that's about
right.
it though.
Like that image with the gross teeth and
good God, yeah. When we're just jumping around here. That's just fine. Yeah. But yeah, when he's got Freddie Lowndes tied up to that chair, and he reveals himself and he's got the pantyhose over his head and like he just looks like a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the eyes just flattened out and yeah, just that whole scene and the clinical precision to the camera moves in that scene, like that's one of the scariest scenes I think ever shot.
Yeah.
Just when it's behind Noonan and he's saying you're an ant in the afterbirth. You know, like it's just you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Wait, and then sorry, you had told me the reporter in Manhunter. What was the other thing we watched shortly after that he was in? Man.
I don't know if but Stephen Lang, he's the bad guy in Avatar.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, that's who you're saying.
He looks so much different now.
That is crazy.
He's got the curly mop, the red curly mop.
The real it hasn't let go of the 70s yet. It hasn't quite. Hair metal has already died, or actually no, it was going.
It was going strong. Yeah.
But it was more of a 70s mullet for sure.
Hey Graham, remember me, Freddie Lowndes? I did the paperback.
But that brings us to Anthony Hopkins, which, or not Anthony Hopkins, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh man, man,
yeah,
it's a sad sight to see Philip Seymour Hoffman in Red Dragon.
That is really deflating
Because I don't know if he was just slumming or if he was just strung out.
Yeah,
it seems like he was strung out.
Yeah,
he's just kind of mumbling through his lines.
He got a chuckle out of me at one point.
Which part?
Probably the mumbling part.
When he's like, "Pleasure doing business with you."
Yeah,
chumps.
Yeah.
I swear the chumps line is 80 yard. Probably. It sounds like completely two different audio sources.
yeah, no. It was funny because you had prefaced me with the Philip Seymour Hoffman part. And then as characters started showing up, Keitel, all the stuff, I was like, wait, Philip Seymour Hoffman's what's his part? And then I just forgot about the reporter.
Yeah.
At the time, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, good casting, but yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't bring it. Well, I mean the big problem with that movie is fucking coming off of Michael Mann, Jonathan Demme for Silence, and Ridley Scott for Hannibal. You get the director of Rush Hour,
yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I had read on IMDb or something that Michael Bay was approached at one point to direct Red Dragon.
I mean, I would have liked a Jablonski score over
the Danny Elfman score.
I will say, I mean, I love Elfman. Probably his music more than his composing. I will say. But yeah, that was not the right choice,
dude.
The intro scene just had the big bombastic reveal, during the reveals when you have the big bombastic brass jump in. I'm like, no, dude, with the Pink Floyd-esque score of Manhunter, the eerie. I forget the musical term for it, but just to make. It's the same thing ambulances use to alert you of things. It's that same musical notation, and it works so well in Manhunter. I think when we were watching it at the New Beverly, there was a point in the score where it's an alone moment with Will Graham, and I think I turned to you. I was like, "Is this a Pink Floyd?" There was one it was literally a motif taken straight from Pink Floyd, and, The Wall.
And ever since you said that, my rewatch of certain Michael Mann movies, there's certain scenes where it's like, oh fuck, he's onto that Comfortably Numb shit again. Yeah.
Respect though.
It's always
awesome.
It's always awesome. I sent you that scene from Thief, his first movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where James Caan, he's shooting and then he gets shot and then he's reloading. It just sounds just like Comfortably Numb.
And wait, was it The Keep that had Tangerine Dream?
Yeah, The Keep was Tangerine Dream.
Yeah.
Thief for Thief also Tangerine Dream.
Really? Okay, that's cool. But
for Manhunter it was Michael Rubini and the Reds, I believe. Does
he ever get composers to do his score? Or is it always bands?
Eventually.
The Heat was done by Motley Crue.
Oh yeah.
Collateral was done by Fall Out Boy.
Oh no, Collateral in Miami Vice is all Chris Cornell, man.
Yeah.
It's all Audio Slave.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk a little Will Graham here. Yeah, I feel like
we
William Peterson. I mean, I hear a lot of complaints like, he's got a goofy presence, which yeah, he does. He's a little too macho, I guess.
Yeah.
Um
Did you just tough talk a dead body? That rings in my head every time I watch Manhunter. You didn't, you son of a bitch. It's like, all right, dude, chill. They're dead already.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a stage actor. That's how he's a Chicago stage actor.
That makes
That's how
sense.
man discovered him. Well, actually, no, he had done To Live and Die in L.A. the year before.
Mhm.
For William Friedkin, who William Friedkin was actually approached, the late director.
Mhm.
He was actually approached to play Hannibal, which
Oh, really?
he's got the look, man. That would have been something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's just I don't know. I've always bought his presence. Just the way he says certain words, like how he says, "Yeah, you lick the glass before you put the suction cup on." Like it's just I don't know. I would like him to read me a bedtime story,
Yeah, I mean, he's fantastic. I have literally no notes for him. Obviously, the tough talk is a little bit.
It's of the time.
You might have mentioned that he's a stage actor.
Yeah.
But that really just rings true.
Yeah.
On it. But I don't even count that against him. Really, it just adds to it.
Yeah.
Every character
very theatrical.
Every character has its isms.
Yeah.
And I think that ism for Will Graham is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of off. He's off. His character is mentally tormented.
Yeah.
By things. So it's like, yeah, maybe he just says something too loud and he starts yelling at people while he's sitting in a tree, yelling at nobody.
Yelling at people, but there's nobody there.
Yeah, he's just looking into an empty house.
Didn't you the son of a bitch? Watch them all goddamn day long.
But yeah, I mean, I have no notes for him. That's why I guess it's easy to talk about Cox and everything. I guess we could talk about him versus Norton, which I think Norton was just he was just hot.
He was just hot at the time. Yeah,
he was just hot at the time, so he was placeholder there.
Yeah,
he probably got casted for his confused look.
Yeah,
his confused, pondering look. I feel like that was like 90% of the reason. His like, what do I make of this?
I had a thought about his casting where it was like, okay, maybe Brett Ratner, the director of Red Dragon, maybe he saw Fight Club. Maybe he saw Fight Club and thought like, oh yeah, this guy could totally like, he could be one way, and then he could be a fucking crazy guy the other way. And it's like, no, Brad Pitt was the crazy guy in the movie, you know?
Or, I mean, to flesh that out a little, I could see him, I mean, his character in Fight Club is he's a troubled young man. Yeah. And so is Will Graham. So I guess I see that line of logic for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I wasn't that offended by his character, but it's just he pales in comparison.
Absolutely,
to Peterson.
He just doesn't have the juice.
He's
too young.
He's the Leota in a Goodfellas movie when Manhunter cannot be that. Yeah, you need like some movies, like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. He's a conduit for the story. Yeah. No, that's not.
And you watch him grow through that.
Yeah. But Manhunter is about Will Graham. Yeah. Will Graham having the struggle throughout it, and it just he doesn't really carry it the way it should be.
But yeah, like I told you before you even watched the movie, like I had problems with his performance there, but I did latch onto a few things. Rewatching it this past month. Like the scene from Manhunter when right after he leaves the house of the victims, and he's in his hotel room and he's watching the films on the TV.
That's that gaze. That's that confused look.
Yeah.
That's peak peak Norton right there.
Well, what's interesting in that scene with Norton, he's got all the crime scene photos laid out. He's just sitting in the center of all of it. And like I was kind of latching on, he's kind of looking at the crimes from like an architect's perspective. He's just trying to rebuild it from the ground up. Yeah. And it's so dumb though when he has his epiphany, and then it has the sound cue.
Oh yeah.
So, oh fuck.
Brain blast.
Where
Jimmy
it's
Neutron.
in Manhunter. In Manhunter, it's so cool because it's subtle.
Mm.
His epiphany moment. It's so subtle. Like it took me years to realize this even happens. When he's watching the screen, there's a jump cut, and you see his head jump up, and he's like, you took your gloves off to touch her, didn't you? Like you had to touch her. Yeah. There's like a quick jump cut. You just see him move just like a millimeter, and like the way Man uses jump cut, he really ramps it up in the climax. Really just kind of just showing the deterioration of the mindset.
Yeah.
You know. Thing with Norton.
Okay, wait. I just want to jump to the end here. The difference in the endings with Manhunter and Red Dragon. So Manhunter, forgive me because it's the one I've seen the longest ago. There's not the go back to home.
No,
scene. It ends right there.
Yeah, it ends pretty conventionally, I would say.
So there's no burning down of the house with the.
There's no fake out. Yeah.
Okay.
That.
And you said that's in the book.
That's all in the book. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that really messed with my head when
I
was watching Red Dragon. I was like, wait, this not like everything else I remembered, but not this.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Tooth Fairy talking this much, and I don't remember that.
Which, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they did that for Red Dragon because, I mean,
I think I understand both paths for each story that they chose because Man decided to not to give an air of mystery with the Tooth Fairy more than the book did.
Yeah.
So that constituted, or it wouldn't constitute that bait and switch. You wouldn't really be able to make sense of it.
No,
because you don't know enough about the character and his relationship with the blind woman. That is there.
Yeah.
But it's very subtle and it's very moment. It's just a moment, pretty much.
Yeah.
But since they did decide to develop it, which I think it worked in his favor. I think
it does work. Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the strongest parts of the movie.
Yeah. When
his struggle.
Yeah.
With that. Does he eat the painting in Manhunter?
No, he does not. No.
But he does go into the art place.
No,
I thought he did.
You know what? They something Man explained at the Q&A. The producer Dino De Laurentiis, they were gonna go with the title Red Dragon, but Dino De Laurentiis thought that the title Red Dragon sounded like a kung fu movie.
It does.
Yeah, but something else I've read though, Dino De Laurentiis he produced a movie the year prior called Year of the Dragon, which flopped, and he didn't want to have dragon in the title. It was bad. It was bad juju. So there's actually photos you can find of Tom Noonan with the red dragon tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is completely not in the movie. So they were trying to do something with it, but just I think maybe they just didn't like how it looked. Yeah, I don't know. But it's really cool in the series, in the Hannibal series though, when they do get to all that stuff. I gotta say the Hannibal series does the Red Dragon storyline like in a more dynamic and interesting way than Red Dragon does.
Really?
Red Dragon's very by the book, and then the way they do it in Hannibal is pretty awesome.
Do they flesh it out more, or do they just hit the key points a lot harder?
I would say they hit the key points a lot harder. They actually changed some stuff up a little bit.
Okay.
What's interesting from the book is the family, Will's family. Because in Manhunter, that's just his family. That's his son. From the book, that son is an adopted son.
Yeah.
And what's really funny, in the book, the kid's name is Willie. And so when I was reading the book years ago, I was like, wait, is this his kid or not? Because why would you? His name's Will and this kid's name is Willie. Like that's a weird coincidence, you know. And then in Manhunter, the kid's name's Kevin. Red Dragon, the kid's name is Josh. And then in the Hannibal series, they actually have him. He's an adopted kid. He marries into, and the kid's name's Wally.
They're gonna say like Wash or something. Washvin.
But yeah, in the Hannibal series, the couple interesting tweaks they do is like Reba, the blind woman, she's a black woman in the series, which is interesting because the Tooth Fairy and a lot of serial killer pathologies, they tend to target within their own race.
Yeah.
So to have a blind black woman,
Quoth Silence of the Lambs.
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting inverse. It kind of added more layers to his struggle.
Yeah.
And then another interesting thing is that the Dollarhide actually goes after the family pretty early on, and it actually gets to the point where he wounds Molly, the wife. Yeah, and then it causes a complete rift between Will and the son. Yeah, like the son just doesn't want anything to do with him from that point. Which you know what, we could jump on to Manhunter. One of the great scenes in Manhunter after it's revealed that Lecter and the Tooth Fairy have been communicating and that he gives Will his address. He has to take his family into hiding.
Yeah.
And there's that wonderful scene in the grocery store where Will has to explain to his son exactly what's been going on.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I that's right. I totally forgot about. I started like tearing up during that.
Fuck, it's a great scene. Yeah. One thing whenever me and Alex watch it, she hates that kid actor because he's always looking to the right.
He's always looking at his cue card.
Yeah, yeah. Which it doesn't bother me that much, but
it's fun. Whenever I see like a bad kid actor, I'm like, that's good. It means he wasn't abused. That means he wasn't abused on set.
He's not Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, no, that means they were like, well, we'll deal with it.
It's like, you know the parents took him out for an ice cream after.
Yeah, they were proud of him.
They're proud of him. Yeah. But yeah, that scene, just oh god, and the all the cereal boxes behind him, incredible. Yeah, no, just the way that Peterson just explains to the kid, like, you're in good hands, So and I especially love when the kid asks he's like, when he asks like, how did Hannibal, it's like, how did he kill? And then he reluctantly is just like, real bad ways.
Yeah.
Like yeah, just so soothing, just how he says that, Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've done a good amount of time on Manhunter and Red Dragon.
Yeah. One thing I gotta mention about Manhunter, and the thing that like it only grows in estimation for me is it's a movie about watching movies. It's about seeing images
and making sense of
them, and how they make you feel. Like it's all about that, and like
it's what every movie now is about.
It's what every movie now is about. Yeah. Which is, it may not seem that special now, but it's interesting, just the images, and we could talk a little more about Manhunter here. Come on. Yeah. The whole scene where he finally realizes it comes into focus. Exactly how he's choosing the victims, just it, because already, because the way that it weaves in the antagonist and protagonist narratives together, it starts to get more intense, the way that they cut back and forth.
Yeah.
Like once the Red Dragon exposes himself. And like there's this scene where he's stroking the lady's her bloody robe, and then it cuts immediately to the painting of the Red Dragon and the woman clothed in the sun.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the fantasy right there. Will is almost there.
Yeah.
And then when he after he has his last talk with Hannibal, and Hannibal tells him how it is to be like God. Then it cuts back to Will's at the house again. And I think I told you after we saw it that I think that's a dream sequence. No, I think Will actually he goes back to the house and he sees the woman in the bed and her eyes are glowing and like yeah, that's the painting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, yeah, there's the scene where he realized you've seen these films, haven't you, my man? You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just the way the music starts to swell. I think that was the scene where you said like it's like comfortably numb a little bit right there. Just so intense. So like I every time I watch it I get chills. But the main centerpiece for me of the movie, the greatest 3 minutes of cinema, is the scene where Dollarhide thinks he sees the woman kissing a coworker. But it's all in his head, and you got that beautiful song "Strong as I Am" just blaring, and just the color and the composition, like it's just every time I watch that movie at home, I gotta watch that scene like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, and I just turn the volume up louder each time, just the boom 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 boom. Yeah, so yeah, that's me blowing all over Manhunter there.
I did. I just wanted to let you go off. All right. I wanted to talk about Terrifier, but
talk about it.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Wait, what is that from? What were you referencing?
Eric Andre said that, and
that's
then,
right.
And then we were
watching... He probably said it once.
He said it once, yeah, and then we saw. We were watching...
Speaking of, Hannibal is a co-host of the Eric Andre show. And
another kind of sociopath.
Yeah, and also the coach in the Spider-Man films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good comic actors in those Marvel Spider-Man.
Great. Hannibal, just a star-studded career.
Yeah. and then he appeared at the red carpet for one of them. But it wasn't him. Oh. He hired someone to pretend to be him, and then the reporters be like, "Hannibal, how are you doing tonight?"
Did they have the robot? the Hannibal robot? No, it was a
guy. It was a guy. Yeah. But going back to the talk about it thing, we were watching Black Klansman, and at a rally, they were all saying They kept saying talk about it, right. And then I think that's where you're like, is that where Eric Andre? Like, is that a thing? Is that a fucking thing?
Oh man, so I mean, it's crazy that we've gotten this. It's so funny that I think Manhunter is not to pick favorites, but to pick favorites. I think Manhunter is better than Silence of the Lambs.
I 100% think that.
But
Silence of the Lambs is a fucking masterpiece. It's 5 out of 5, 10
legend.
Out of 10. Yeah. Unimpeachable.
Don't check my letterbox, but 5 out of 5. I didn't give it 5, but
yeah, no, I'm 100% team Manhunter.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Manhunter and the Silence of the Lambs. When we
don't have to bash Silence of the Lambs to big up Manhunter.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I think what, because before this talk we're having, I thought we would go in chronological release order.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like if we were gonna do that, I was gonna say like, all right, let's talk about 2 masterpieces and 2 cash grabs.
Yeah.
But
fair.
Yeah.
I think that So we can hop into Silence of the Lambs.
We're a little more on Red Dragon at all. Philip Seymour Hoffman's toenails disgust me.
I think.
Did you see he's got like the thick brown ones.
Yeah. Like I didn't think about it, but then when you mentioned it, I got a striking image in my brain.
It flashed in your head like Will Graham, huh?
Yeah. you didn't clip those, didn't you, son of a bitch?
Son of a bitch. We could run through a little Red Dragon. You know whose performance I absolutely love and who's understated in Red Dragon?
Keitel, dude.
Keitel, yeah. I as far as Jack Crawfords go, he's probably the least. You got Dennis Farina, you got Scott Glenn, Then you got him. Then you got Lawrence Fishburne in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keitel's the least, but at the same time, he just seems like a really, really good boss.
He's just a team player.
He's just a team player. Like, I love that scene where it's the scene where Will is like, "You're trying to run a game on me, Jack," and then Keitel's like, "Hey, I'm just doing my job here." Like, if you think Lecter will talk to me, I'll go. But
he's literally admitting to it, but he's just like, "What do you want from me? What do you want?
We gotta stop these murders, man. Come on." Yeah, Keitel's pretty great in it. Yeah. Just very understated.
Keitel should always be that character.
Yeah.
He could be that character today. He could have been that character at 25.
Yeah.
And he should always be a commissioner, a sheriff.
Yeah.
The
national treasure.
All that. Everything, dude.
I gotta arrest somebody, Nicolas Cage.
I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I'm gonna do, kind of that all that stuff. He is that guy.
Yeah. Very reliable performance in that. Yeah. Also, what's her name? Emily Watson, I think, plays Reba, the blind girl.
Yeah,
she's pretty great.
She is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, like the scene where Dollar Hyde's gonna kill himself in quotations, like, and she's flipping out, like, yeah, that shit sells.
Yeah.
And then there's that really good scene too where Will, he's confiding, he's comforting her after, and he's like whatever good was left in him, like, you drew it out of him.
I'm sorry, I'm just like having like a montage in my brain of realizing how much Ralph Fiennes I've consumed in the last like 2 months. It's mind-boggling
with all the Wes Anderson stuff.
All the Wes Anderson. He plays Rodal, and the rat catcher.
Oh God.
We don't need to talk about that. But you should watch Henry Sugar so we could talk about that.
Okay.
But and then just, I haven't watched a Harry Potter recently, but Harry Potter has come up. He's going to sacrifice himself. But then I also just rewatched The Menu, which he's fantastic, and he's just great in.
Yeah, no, he's always great.
He's just
I rewatched Schindler's List this year, and my God, that was like his big breakthrough movie. He's fucking amazing in that. Like, he's evil, but he's also like, he's a little likable at times. Yeah, he's in love with he won't say it, but he's in love with one of the Jewish girls, to the point where he beats the shit out of her because he's afraid of and just the way that he expresses that is just, oh man, he's amazing.
Does what he couldn't do in Red Dragon.
Exactly. Yeah, he actions speak louder than words. You know, where in Red Dragon it really bothers me when they introduce him and he's bench pressing. He's like, and you hear the grandmother's voice in his head. He's like, "Grandmother, no!" That's fucking silly, dude. Come on.
That is kind of wacky. But we get to see Dick Dangle. Great.
What's funny, the Suspense is Killing Us podcast that I listened to, they covered all these movies, and they mentioned like the scene in Silence of the Lambs where Hannibal he describes the killer. He's like 5'10", 182 pounds, blonde hair. Yeah, and they're talking about Red Dragon. They're like, "Can we get another one of those Silence of the Lambs scenes?" And he's like, "Yeah, 5'5", blonde hair, has a tattoo on his dingle. There's a dragon tattoo on his dingle." That shit kills me. Oh man.
One day we'll get there.
One day we'll be that funny.
Yeah.
But what else is there to talk about?
I mean,
we could talk about so Dante Spinati, he shot Manhunter in '86. One of the most beautiful looking movies I've ever seen. Man said that they're working on a new cut, new restoration, hopefully for 4K.
Nice.
It worries me though, because as we've talked about with Heat's 4K, looks like you're watching it wearing sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it worries me. Also because he also said, like, yeah, there's some films in mine that I never touched, like Heat. Like, I know you fucking touched that.
Well, maybe he didn't touch it,
No, he
did?
because I pre-ordered the Black Hat director's cut months ago. It was supposed to come out months ago. He just, I don't know if it's a rights issue or he's very particular about the tinkering. He's like George Lucas in that way.
Yeah.
Like he'll take out like little lines of dialogue, like the great ass line in Heat.
Yeah.
Well, on my DVD, after he says the great ass, it shows Hank Azaria's reaction, and you could hear Pacino say, "Ain't I ferocious?" He cuts that out of any modern day cuts of it.
What the hell?
Why?
That's so weird.
It's so weird. Yeah, yeah.
He does like the opposite Tarantino Hateful Eight extended cut.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wait, have I seen that? Have I heard this before? Yeah.
Why are there 3 extra lines every time? It's just cut off a sentence in the original cut.
Well, anyways, going back, Dante Spinotti, he shot Manhunter, and he also shot Red Dragon because he's one of Brett Ratner's guys. Mm-hmm. So there's a weird off balance of like, okay, Red Dragon's trying to look like Seven in some cases, but then you got scenes where he's kind of recreating. Kind of reconstructing compositions and shots from Manhunter,
like definitely the hotel scene.
Yeah, like the hotel scene, or the scene where Dollarhide sees them kissing. Yeah. Where in Red Dragon, it's an actual kiss on the cheek. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's the same fucking composition. Yeah,
Yeah.
And he works with like similar colors in an interesting way. The thing that pisses me off though, and this is a good jumping point into Silence of the Lambs. Now, you remember in Silence of the Lambs when it happens a lot where the camera is just straight on Jodie Foster, straight on to whoever Jodie Foster's talking to as well.
Yeah.
And it's very effective into getting you into her mindset, into her insecurities about the situations and whatnot. Well, in Red Dragon, the director of Rush Hour must have just been like, yeah, just do that. Just do it. Because whenever they do it, like Edward Norton will be staring like the camera will be on him like he's supposed to be staring right down the center. Mm-hmm. But I swear to God, he's like looking to the side or something. Like
it's like they're doing a photo, like high school photos, but not the ones where you're like leaned over an apple crate.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Put your hand on your chin. Look down. Chin in.
So now arch your head. Yeah.
Straighten your back up.
Now shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've caught that. I caught that on watching it. It doesn't quite hit.
It's the hacky
same
as fuck.
Yeah.
Like there's scenes where like Dante Spinotti he'll kind of like twist his old work on its head. Like if you remember the Inagata-Devita sequence in Manhunter when Reba, she's just she doesn't know where to go. She's just in the house, and then Francis just grabs her by the hand, forcefully.
Yeah.
He reverses that in Red Dragon when Reba goes to kiss him. Like she's the one who catches him.
Yeah.
And it's like I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. There's an artist right there, not the fucking guy calling the shots apparently. But so Manhunter, masterpiece, perfect, 5 out of 5. Red Dragon,
it's not Psycho. It's not the Psycho remake.
It's got a lot of similarities there. In fact,
that was my fear going into it. I was like, is this going to be a Vince Vaughn Psycho situation?
Yeah, not quite.
And I don't think it is. No. I mean, granted, haven't seen Psycho by Vince Vaughn, but
which is a movie I like as well.
I've seen clips, but I just don't, I can't bring myself to it. It took me a while to get to the Psycho OG just to be a good film student, which I didn't know. Nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it. I can enjoy an older movie, but I think it added enough. It's always going to have its faults, especially with how you said, like the Rush Hour director kind of thing, the lack in quality. But I think it brought enough to the table to justify itself in certain ways.
It's a perfectly serviceable thriller.
I think a lot of that is credit to Ralph Fiennes.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. We didn't even talk about Hopkins in it.
He's there.
There.
We'll get there with Silence of the Lambs.
I like that you have a little irritation. You're like, oh, okay.
He's having fun.
He's just how he says his lines in Red Dragon. It's like, man, he's really hamming it up there.
Oh, well, okay, dang it. One thing about Red Dragon that I really did enjoy was the first scene. No, I mean the first real scene.
Oh yeah, how he captures him.
Yeah.
I was like, so sick.
Cool.
Hannibal's got a sick ponytail.
That's right.
Awesome.
The low balding ponytail, even though he's not balding.
Yeah, that scene's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know how Hannibal survived 3 gunshots to the torso.
Yeah, dude.
Especially how he's like wide-eyed. Oh, he's dead. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure, kill shot.
So that's funny.
Honestly, how either of the did Norton get just stabbed?
He got a little gutted.
Yeah. Okay, but he didn't get. Yeah, that's right. He didn't get shot. He just got stabbed. Mm-hmm. Still, rough stabbing.
Yeah. Which you gotta watch that Hannibal series, man. Oh god, it happens in one of the season finales, and like something so upsetting happens the moment before, and it's like, oh man, like I was fucked up for days after seeing that.
An NBC show?
Yeah, dude. They got away with a lot.
Really?
A lot.
Damn.
God damn. Right. There was one episode where I was like, I can't even look at the screen.
Dang.
Yeah, it was so fucking gross.
Down with Fishburne and Mickelson.
Yeah, so, and then Hugh Dancy, who plays Will Graham, he's fucking great.
I was gonna say not Penn Badgley.
Not Penn Badgley, yeah.
He definitely auditioned for that role.
100%
auditioned for that role.
He's like, I just got off Gossip Girl. Get the fuck out of here, guy.
Stop.
And then he did you, and you're like,
yeah. I bet the people who casted Hannibal saw him in you and were like, maybe we were wrong. And then they saw the 3rd season, they're like, nah.
Whatever.
That's how that goes.
That's the way it goes.
But all right, I want to get into Jodie Foster. All right.
Yeah. Silence of the Lambs, 91.
Jodie Foster with a southern accent.
You can lounge on the beach.
The Anthrax Island.
What a fucking ruse, man.
Wait, did she know about that it was Anthrax Island?
That it was bullshit?
That it was complete bullshit? Or
yeah.
Okay, well, because she was being fed like she went under there. She went to the meeting under false pretense.
Yeah.
She kind of had a hint, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think she even mentioned, like, is this about Buffalo Bill?
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing that accent.
Dr. Lecter.
Dr. Lecter. But, yeah, I mean, Silence of the Lambs. What else is there to say? It needs no explanation.
Where Manhunter, like, it's a great film in my eyes. Mm-hmm. It's a cult favorite now.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, though, like, that's a canon all-timer. Revered by everyone.
Yeah.
Seen by most. Mm-hmm. You know. Like, people have seen Silence of the Lambs. You mentioned Manhunter. They're like, oh, what's that? You know.
That I had to break down Eric and be like, dude, you know, if Silence of the Lambs is great, we both agree on that. Mm-hmm. You need to watch Manhunter.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, my big thing about Silence of the Lambs was, I get that Jodie Foster she impressed what's his face? I forget the guy's name.
Crawford, Jack
Crawford, yeah,
played by Scott Glenn.
Yeah,
he's maybe the okay. Go ahead.
But like he impressed her, or she impressed him with her like dissertation or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are we doing with Jodie Foster? Like, this is such a crazy call to arms for Jodie Foster. Like, hey, I just want you to talk to the most legendary serial killer of all time. Like,
and I know you got some fucked up shit in your past, but you know, like, don't mention that. Please do not mention that.
Yeah. I know he's gonna read you like a book and probably assume all that dark stuff happened to you.
Dude, that okay. That scene is so devastating when when he's flipping through the census or whatever, whatever, and he gives her the wink, and he's skimming through it, and then he just shuts her down.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about like, oh, in the back seat with all those boys and all those cars, hoping you could just get away, get all the way to the FBI.
Yeah. And that's peak Hopkins right there.
When he says, "What was your father, coal miner?" Oh man, what a scumbag!
And just that the emotional turn of when she's doing that. I mean, quote Anthony Hopkins, "You were doing so well."
Yeah,
and like where she just goes to the script.
Yeah,
and it's like no, and like just that emotional like. Oh
yeah!
No, you fucked up there. Like,
yep.
like man, like you felt that like it's like when you're in an interview for a job and you just start rattling off like the cliches of like, well, my biggest weakness is I work too hard, and you're like, fuck.
Oh, I welcome the pressure.
Yeah,
I welcome it. I said that in an interview once, and I knew I was fucked. It's the job I'm currently at with the previous manager.
Oh,
yeah. He's like, how are you under pressure? And I was like, oh, I welcome it.
Such a douchebag.
I should have just quoted Nicolas Cage from The Rock. Oh, I love pressure. I chew it up, eat it for breakfast. I would have gotten hired if I said that.
But yeah, okay. Anthony Hopkins at the top of his game as Hannibal. What
are you talking about? The Last Night. Transformers 5.
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
That's the only performance better than Hannibal.
But another fun fact about Hannibal, he actually has an alter ego rapping alias called Eshu Toon, and he's actually was opening for Mark Rebier at one point. Very very known live looping funk producer.
All right. All right. I get the bit now.
Oh yeah.
I wait for Hannibal as well now.
I figured the coach his movie credits were gonna get you. He was also in Secret Life of Pets and the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
He was in the newest. He was in one of the Transformers movies. That's for sure.
Was Hannibal in it?
Yeah, he was the British guy in Transformers 5.
Oh no, you don't get the bit still.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll get it by the end.
He was the coach in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay, yeah.
Hannibal.
Okay,
don't make.
You can delete that.
Hannibal Buress.
I got confused.
God damn it.
I got confused. There's just so much bullshit tornadoing right now, and I'm hot right now.
That was the whole plan this whole time. I was just gonna keep rattling off Hannibal Buress.
Okay, you can keep doing that. I'll get it next time.
I think I'm out. I think I'm out of them.
Well, if inspiration sparks, you know, you're always welcome to.
But yeah, okay. Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. So yeah, a beautiful thing about it is, like I said, talking about Red Dragon, you know, the close-up shots, which we didn't really mention with Manhunter, but the way that the cell scene is shot in that, you know, eventually you get to the medium, you know, front shots of them, and it looks like Will Graham's in the cell himself. He's trapped. Where in Silence they do very interesting variations on that.
It almost feels like it follows the beats of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like this might be completely incorrect, but I'm just gonna go off the assumption here. So when Jodie Foster is talking to Hannibal, it's amicable. Maybe Hannibal's not even in the cell. Maybe the camera's in the cell with Hannibal. Maybe the camera's outside the cell with Jodie.
Yeah.
But then the moment she goes to that and he starts shitting on her shitty perfume and her shoes, then she's behind the cell. Kind of thing. And it establishes the dominance with that camera placement.
Yeah.
Like that, like it definitely does that a couple times. I don't know if that's the exact moment it does that, but it definitely plays with that in a very fun way.
Yeah. And there's even one scene where you see Hannibal reflected on the glass, and it's a close up of Jodie Foster. You see him reflect on the glass, and it's like he's in her head
Yeah,
now.
it's like it's almost like a cross dissolve kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
oh man,
Brilliant,
sorry.
brilliant.
The cross dissolve made me remember. There's just real quick in Exorcist 3. There's like a quadruple cross dissolve that occurs for about 15 seconds. Breaks your brain. It just completely breaks your brain.
It's like something from Off the Air.
Yeah, dude, that's not okay. but going forward, one thing I noticed on second watch, because I've seen Silence of the Lambs twice in like the last like month or so, because I watched it with Krista. The very sad and unfortunate, almost non-existent love story between the Jodie Foster and Crawford. You said where Crawford's got the hots for Jodie Foster.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle. I think Hopkins mentions it once.
Yeah, sodomizing you.
But like, but at the very end, it's like, at the very end, there's like a moment of.
Personally, I think that's something Miggs would say.
That's when she's on it, dude.
Yeah,
she nails it right there. But yeah, like there's like that handshake shared before she goes and talks to Hannibal at the very end,
mm-hmm.
and it's like the tension there. You could see Crawford just like, I can't, I just can't even.
Like, fuck, I want to eat you too.
Yeah, just doesn't have it in him. He's just an old man, and he can't do it.
You know what's interesting about that? Because the sexual tension between the three of them
Mm-hmm.
is there, but it's also a father thing too.
Yeah,
like
none of it's consensual.
Yeah, it's all this weird Freudian.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
like in the moments in the car when they're like traveling.
Yeah,
like just like how Crawford's impressed with Jodie Foster. It's all very very father daughter kind of relationship, and like just giving where he just lets Jodie Foster take the wheel, even though she's a trainee kind of thing.
Not bad, Starling.
Yeah, it's just so off. It's very Freudian, as you said. Like it's all very weird. The carte blanche she gets as a not even an agent at the time is crazy. Oh, and we talked about this earlier, where like leading into Hannibal, I had a mistake in my in my assessment. So Jodie Foster wasn't even to blame for Hannibal getting away. In no way. He didn't get the pen. The pen was from Miggs.
No, the pen was from the Dr. Chilton.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So so no fault of Jodie Foster.
Well, it's that all came into fruition because of Anthrax Island.
Well, because he got relocated. Yeah, but that wasn't even Jodie Foster.
Yeah, it's like, why the fuck did you just drop your pen in his bed?
Yeah, dude. Was it in his bed? I thought he was brought to like a.
No, they're in his cell, and he's locked up, and he's got the cage over him. And
that's right. I really liked how his nose was just pressed again. I was like, that. As a wrestler, you're just like, yeah, that sucks, dude. That sucks. Just a 100% of the time crossface.
Yeah, the sex mask, as we used to call it.
Yeah. No, that wasn't even the sex mask. That was a different one. It was just like it was like a football face mask just pressed against your face.
Yeah, that's right. It was like more like cagey.
Yeah. And wait, sorry, was it? I think it was Red Dragon that had. It might have also been Manhunter, where he had his little walking cell where they let him walk in a circle. I thought that was great.
Okay, that brings me to another point. Because in Silence of the Lambs, when they do bring Hannibal to the senator, okay, like how much taxpayer dollars are going into just moving Hannibal?
So many.
Because you got 2 guys on the dolly pushing him. You got like 4 guys with shotguns to his head. You probably got, at least 3 or 4 other guys with him. Like, fuck.
Well, you know what's funny? There have been bank robberies planned with less money.
Right?
That pizza one. They just had a necklace.
Oh God.
It's more efficient. They should take notes. Just a guy with a button.
That was really sad and tragic.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that one really upsets you, but it's such a dumb story, dude.
So dumb that
Jesse Eisenberg and Aziz Ansari made a movie about it that was maybe funny.
It's been a few years.
It's been too long.
It's probably not funny anymore.
I thought it was slightly funny in high school, so it's probably not funny at all.
And I like how you read the Wikipedia of that, and like, oh, the screenwriter that he'd never heard of the pizza robbery before. Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
It's just so specific. Like, even I remember in that movie. Oh God, quick digression here, but you remember in the actual thing he had like a cane gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a cane gun. Well, I remember the dad that they're trying to get the money from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got like a pen gun.
That's right. Yeah. The military dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's very different, but come on.
That guy's fucked up. Like this. I mean, am I much different? I really found some enjoyment out of that that terrible documentary.
Anyways,
on to more light topics. Silence of the Lambs.
Let's talk a little Buffalo Bill, played by Ted Levine.
Was she a great big fat person?
For sure, very fat person.
It's my favorite Dan Soder impression. But, I mean, I would say the midpoint of villain exposure between Tooth Fairy and Manhunter and Tooth Fairy and Red Dragon.
Yeah, you get a good
He definitely doesn't have any redeeming qualities like the Tooth Fairy and Red Dragon. You see a heart there. You see struggle. He's just a menace the whole time, just completely terrible.
But what's interesting, like a lot of people find the depiction of Buffalo Bill to be very transphobic. Which I don't want to get too into. In fact, why don't you cut this part out here?
We won't cut that out. I mean, you're just saying what other people are saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just saying what other people are saying because, like, I don't have any knowledge of that world, No. But yeah, like I've read a few things where people find that depiction very transphobic.
I mean, I suppose I see it, but we won't get into that.
We'll get into it.
What I will say about that character was he would have been huge on TikTok. Doing those little dancey dances. You know how many TikToks of that I have seen? And then after rewatching that movie, I'm like, people should check on these TikToks out there. Tom Segura's wife is keyed in to that TikTok algorithm of those kinds of people. And now I'm wondering, I'm like, how many Billy Bobs are out there? Dude, this is a problem.
Buffalo Bills, you mean?
Billy Bob. Billy Bob Thornton. It was because I saw that video of Billy Bob Thornton clearly on drugs with that girl making out on the red carpet.
Angelina Jolie?
Was it Angelina Jolie? I thought it was just some random girl. I don't know. There goes Josh's not knowing someone of the episode.
Of the episode.
But yeah. I almost said Billy Bob again. Buffalo Bill.
James Gum.
Oh, I guess that's our outro music, but we can keep going. But
Billy is not a transsexual, but he thinks he is.
But yeah. So Jesus, this music. Okay, so. But yeah, I think his character it's not very nuanced in any way, but it doesn't need to be.
No,
I think we've had this talk a couple times where there's a difference between a mystery and
a complete cipher.
Yeah, like how we were talking about the difference between Cox and Hopkins, a monster versus a realistic criminal. A realistic criminal. You can show the criminal going about his business like in Heat, Like, and you're almost just as invested in the criminal's activity as the cops. But with a monster, you keep it close to the chest.
Yeah.
And like Buffalo Bill, keep it close to the chest. Tooth Fairy and Manhunter, you keep it close to the chest. But Red Dragon kind of takes the more it wants you to understand him a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, in my opinion, that I like more of I want to see what the villain's doing. I like to understand where they're coming from. The Thanos thing, the bullshit where it's like, oh, it kind of makes sense. Very nuanced opinion, don't you think? Maybe half the people should die. But sorry.
Fuck.
But
I have to say, man, I'm really scared to rewatch Infinity War.
Really?
Yeah,
because it's the only one that you're still.
It's the only one that I still have any hope for, but I fucking. Okay. Anyways,
but I think I'm starting to come to an acceptance that they're just different things, because I always felt like I preferred the more nuanced villain. But I mean, I love monster movies. I love when they don't show you, like Babadook, like Godzilla, those things like that, where it doesn't quite give you the juice right away.
Yeah.
The tension works, but I think just with that Bond, which Bond, Thunderball, like that
seeing like the plot machinations,
that really just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Like, so this is what I want to see in a villain.
Getting 30 minutes of just the villain's idea,
plot,
and like, but I mean, I guess when it's something as simple as this guy's doing some crazy stuff to some women, like, you don't need that much. Like you really,
you're not you don't need much to make me dislike them.
Yeah, there's not an ounce of fat on Silence of the Lambs. Like, and
except for the great big fat person.
Oh my god.
Which it took me many viewings to know, but you see the great big fat person in the bathtub right before the lights go out.
You
don't remember that?
Wait.
It's the last thing Jodie Foster sees when she's looking for Buffalo Bill before the lights go out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Fuck.
Damn. But the thing that struck me intensely was seeing the cuts. I kind of understood the realization that he's like a seamstress, but seeing the same cuts in the back, that you see, that she sees in the daughter's room, that was like, oh yeah, man, that's the you've seen these films, haven't you? That's that moment. It's the same exact moment.
Yeah.
And and then also the bait and switch of them being at the wrong house.
Yeah, that's just so awesome.
Oh my god, it's so expertly done.
Yeah.
Like, just the cuts back and forth, and then and then just to shit on Danny Elfman more. No score. No score when Buffalo Bill opens that door.
Yeah.
Just silence. And his weird voice. What? That's not what that guy sounds like, right? The actor.
Yes, he does.
He does.
I think he dialed it up a little bit for that role, but I don't know if you remember him, but he's also the detective in Heat that Val Kilmer kills immediately after during the shootout. He actually dies the same way he does in Silence of the Lambs. He gets shot in the throat. He's like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Just does that one real well.
It's sad in Heat, though.
Yeah. Oh, wait, okay. I think
he's bald, and he's more bald. And
he's
got the mustache.
But yeah, I feel bad because it's hard to bring up anything about Silence of the Lambs. It's such already a revered movie.
Everybody's talked about
it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we can just talk about like one scene that, well, two things. Anytime it flashes back to Jodie Foster's childhood, like that's just the saddest shit ever. Like that shit's hard for me to watch. Yeah, like anytime it cuts back to her, and like when she's in the funeral parlor, and then it shows her as a little girl, like, oh man, it's just heartbreaking. Yeah. And then the scene in the funeral parlor, wow, what an amazing sequence that is. Just from when the mortician, when he unzips the bag and how he opens it, how he like slams it, and then you could just see them all coiling from the smell.
Yeah. Well, and like even the preparation with the stuff under the things, and Jodie Foster's in like perplexed, but she's kind of like observing.
Yeah.
Like, and she probably knows of that procedure.
Yeah.
But she's like, you could see it on her face.
Fuck,
like,
it's coming.
It's that time.
Yeah.
It's that time. Like
it's so cool how like Scott Glenn, like they're all throwing it around, catching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she's just.
They've all done it before.
Yeah.
She's like, I guess this is the moment. Damn. Yeah.
But that, and then the camera, the sound that it makes.
It's just turned up to like 11.
Yeah, like that shit just, I don't know, it just sticks in your brain.
Well, because Jodie Foster in that scene is so, like, she's not, in her words, she's not sympathetic. Mm-hmm. But you can see it affecting her.
Yeah. And
her kind of going through, because she's a trainee.
Yeah.
But she's handling it. Mm-hmm. But you can see every click is like...
Yeah,
a little breath in for her.
Yeah,
and it's like it's so gruesome.
Oh,
even though nothing's happening, it's just like she mentions one thing, the guy takes a picture of that, and it's like, all right, dude, like,
I'm really freaking out here.
I don't know if it was that important. I'm just winging it.
Or how about the scene where she tells all the officers to take a hike?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, like, oh, go on now, get out of here. We don't want you.
It just shows there's nothing to. Southern women beat out men.
Yeah.
they.
But just like we say just how it puts you in her headspace, just how you see just all those dudes looking at her, just eyeballing her like this chick.
Yeah.
It's man, that's just as scary as when she's in Buffalo Bill's basement.
Yeah.
Which, okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry, the woman that I love the interaction with. Like, you fucking bitch.
You fucking bitch, don't you leave me here.
Like, I get it, but also you could be the reason I die right now because you're screaming at me.
How the fuck should I know? Just get me out of here. And then she has the dog at the end. When they're wheeling her out, she's holding the dog. Like, that's her dog now.
That's nice. That poor song is
Goodbye Horses?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't think that song ever recovered from being just a creepy song.
You know, that played it that was the closing song at the 80s bar when we went one night.
Was it?
Yeah, it sure was.
It's a good one to get everyone the fuck out.
Yeah. And then you got the one asshole on stage.
Of course.
Naturally. But what else is there to talk about? Oh, we've been talking about the Crawfords here. Scott Glenn, he's secretly my MVP for the movie.
Really?
As Jack Crawford. Yeah. He's just always great in everything, and just I don't know, just like we said, Keitel, like love how he's just like a boss, but like you'd want Scott Glenn to be your dad. You know?
Yeah. And to bring back the Freudian stuff, like he. Like if let's just play around. Let's say that was Keitel. It would not work.
Yeah,
Keitel's a boss.
Yeah, he's not very. I mean, he's fatherly to an extent, but like I couldn't see him, with Jodie Foster.
He's a father to the point where like you would need therapy, but you'd be like, yeah, he hit me, but it was like he was never like really mean to me.
I kind of deserved it.
I was kind of being. I definitely broke a vase.
I want to mention Dennis Farina for Manhunter. He's my favorite Crawford because I mean, obviously Manhunter is my favorite of these movies, but he's my favorite Crawford because that dude was actually he's a Chicago cop. Like that's just who he is. Yeah. So when he's yelling at Will, like, fucking right, you're fucking right. I'd ask you to do it again. I believe it. Oh, and then one thing I want to after we saw Manhunter, I remember you mentioning the posing.
Oh yeah,
like how everybody poses cool, and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to mention even the fucking plane poses when they land the private jet. like it makes like a few little like in front of the camera, and then the door busts open and they run out. Like even the fucking private jet poses for him, you know. Yeah, so that's, I mean, what else do we have to say about Silence?
I was literally just gonna be like, well, Hannibal was kind of crazy, and that's it.
That's it. End of story. He gets away. That scene's awesome.
Yeah, that
scene's fucking awesome when he gets away.
Yeah. I would say everything with him in that like library, or it's like the third floor of like
I think it's like City Hall or something.
Yeah. Why? Why is he in City Hall? I mean, I guess they let Ted Bundy in a library in a courtroom.
Well, there's you just answered your own question.
I guess.
He was in a cell.
Yeah.
They should have had more. They should have had the SWAT team upstairs.
2 cops.
One inept guard.
Yeah, dude.
That scene, a lot of suspension of disbelief, because you never actually see how he gets the pen, or at least the part of the pen.
He just looks at it.
He just looks at it. Yeah.
But I mean, no, I definitely enjoyed it, and just the whole dismantling of the cops and everything, and then the reveal that he put his face on, and like,
you know it's like, you take for granted certain details. Like I first watched that when I was like probably 10 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when they think they see Lecter in the elevator shaft and he's face down,
mm-hmm.
and like for years I've been like, oh, that's because he ripped his face off.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're not showing. That's why he's face down.
Yeah,
and he's wearing Hannibal's clothes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
But just how sickening that when he rips the face off.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Wait. So but I was thinking about the with the suspense with them like seeing the elevator going up.
Oh yeah.
So they see so I'm just trying to put it together. So they see the elevator going up. And they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And that's Lecter calling the elevator, but it goes up to his floor.
Yes.
So that's insinuating that Lecter did whatever he needed to do, peeled his face off, and then opens the top and puts the body on top? Or does he let the elevator go down, open the elevator shaft, throw him as it's going down?
Either way,
way too much strength.
Yeah.
I mean, the other one, I could see Anthony Hopkins opening an elevator shaft, brute force, more than I could see him wielding an obese police officer.
195-pound man.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Well,
then how does he pass the physical more than 5 years ago?
More than that, but he takes the extra step to sling the guy up on the cell and gut him. The butterfly. Yeah. So, like,
how much time passed?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, you would need at least 2 hours.
That's a lot of work. That's art.
That is art. Oh man. Well, my brain's a little broken from that one there.
No, but truly, what Buffalo Bill did was art, and it would probably have 2,000 likes on TikTok. I'm consistent on that.
Yeah, probably. And like, if people, he would get arrested now, and there would be woke people, advocating for him, and Jodie Foster. Clarice Starling would be in the same what's the word, predicament that she is in Hannibal.
Yeah,
she'd be fucked.
Actually, it would be twice the issue.
It'd be twice the issue. Yeah,
she'd be like, I got the commissioner on me, and I got the public at large.
Somehow that gets her in trouble. Like, that happens all the time.
You could just tell me to cut this out. You don't have to cover the mic.
Black.
Sorry. Okay, do you want to get into Hannibal for a little bit?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let me take a tissy.
Okay, I gotta take a tissy too. Or were you tissying?
Outback.
Okay. Want to go to Outback tonight? Oh, that sounds great. I got it immediately. Oh fuck.
All right.
All right.
Why did we end on this one?
Fuck. Oh, we're still recording?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah, and I feel like we've barely touched upon Hannibal at all.
Hannibal as a character. Oh,
as
the
a character,
movie
as a character. But you know what? I think
No,
I think hitting the titular movie. I think we can talk more.
We
about
hit
it.
on it pretty
with Manhunter.
With Manhunter and comparing it to just talking about Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
We didn't talk much Anthony Hopkins on Red Dragon, but just in general.
Yeah.
But
this pilgrim will.
But
you and I we're just alike, and then Edward Norton, he just looks like befuddled. He's like, oh no, we're not.
Wait, so does in Silence of the Lambs they mention Will Graham, don't they?
Mm-mm.
They don't at all.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
Not at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like you. I'd be fucking terrified if I was Will Graham after Hannibal gets out.
Yeah, dude.
That guy's my address.
Yeah. I'm sure he moved 3 times after that.
I would have.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I gotta move out of Florida. Like.
But okay, so you're gonna have to do a lot of carry a lot of weight on Hannibal.
2001's Hannibal. So, oh man. So this movie, the novel, from what I understand about the novel, what I've seen from the show, a lot crazier shit in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way it ends is completely different. In fact, the show is interesting because it actually kind of takes the ending without Clarice, but with Will and Hannibal.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the way that the book ends is it's very similar with the Leota eating the brain scene, but Clarice is also like drugged up in that scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, something else Hannibal did was he buried up the bones of her deceased father, and he lays them out for her, and it like it does something to her, and then like her and Hannibal start like fucking. And then they run away together.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they made the original script that they would have went for, that they approached Jodie Foster with, most likely had that in there. And
sorry. I forgot you said this was written in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very confused until I remembered that. What was happening, dude? The coke went bad.
it was all crank, man.
Yeah.
It was all yellow. It was all yellow. No, never mind. So I think they approached Jodie Foster with that script, and she's like, "No, I will not do this."
Fair.
But Hannibal, 2001, directed by Ridley Scott. This is Hannibal. This is just a Hannibal in a Dracula movie. Like. He's just out being brazenly creepy. He's supposed to be. This is 10 years after Silence of the Lambs. He's supposed to be in hiding, but like he's
not laying low in the slight. He was laying low more in Red Dragon in the first scene, feeding people.
Oh man, dude! If you loved that, you're gonna love the show. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah. It starts off in Clarice Starling, played by Julianne Moore, because Jodie Foster said no. I think Julianne Moore is okay in the role.
She's fine.
Yeah,
I okay. Here, hot take. Not this isn't even a hot take. Edward Norton, better replacement than Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. 100%.
Yeah, because I mean. The thing with Edward Norton is, okay, we're doing a new series. It's completely cut off from, Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
We're following strictly Silence of the Lambs,
Maybe that is an unfair comparison because it's a direct remake versus Julianne Moore is just supposed to be Jodie Foster.
Yeah, and it doesn't work on that level.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah, you needed that connection there.
Does she even have an accent?
Yeah, she's doing an impersonation, bro.
I did. Yeah, I need.
Clarice Starling, FBI.
No, dude.
So yeah, she's doing a sting operation where the target, she's HIV positive, and she puts needles in her hair so you can't put her head into the car because she's probably got AIDS needles in her fucking.
Yeah.
So this is a piece of trash, but I love it because Ridley Scott. When Ridley Scott's in trashy mode, like The Counselor, Alien Covenant, like that's. Like I love Ridley Scott when he's very stern and respectable, but Ridley Scott when he's making trash is the best Ridley Scott. Yeah. And yeah, I'll this sting operation, it goes awry. It looks like cutscenes from Black Hawk Down, which Ridley shot like a few months after.
I threw it on. Okay, like we hung out shortly after I threw it on. Not like trying to watch it. I just threw it on because I scrolled past it and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I just remember coming in and out of it. I remember the HIV needle dialogue moment, and I was like, what? Oh, okay. And then just seeing the cutscenes of this weird shootout. I was like, did I put on the wrong movie?
Yeah, and I mean it's not like the previous movies didn't have what you could call an action scene. Manhunter climaxes with that amazing shootout. Silence has that amazing night vision suspense sequence, which ends in gunshots.
But that's at the end.
That's at the end, right? Yeah, it's at the very end.
Red Dragon, first 5 minutes.
Red Dragon. It always makes me laugh when Edward Norton's running to the house and then it blows up and it's like a Michael Bay explosion where he's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't need that, but all right.
Wait, did you hear about the sidebar? What? Did you hear about the Harry Potter stunt double?
I was like scrolling past something on Instagram. He's a paraplegic.
Yeah, because I think it was a scene. I think it was the scene in Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Oh, the one I hate the most.
Where they're at it's like a wedding, and then the Dementors come, or not the Dementors, the Death Eaters come and blow up Ron Weasley's house.
Okay.
And they get
Is it the beginning?
It's hard to remember. We have to go back through. Maybe we should do a Harry Potter episode one day. Go through them all. Just do them all.
Okay.
But there's just an explosion that the shockwave blasts Harry back. Apparently, the stunt double landed on his neck.
Oh man.
And got
quad.
Yeah, just quad. I don't know if it was quad or para, man. But yeah. I guess Daniel Radcliffe, they have a podcast together, and Daniel Radcliffe is like producing or directing a documentary.
Okay,
about something like that.
This is what I scrolled past.
I just recently heard about this, but sad, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's continue with the Hannibal pivot to this wacky movie.
So yeah,
sorry.
she shoots this the lady while she's holding a baby because she pulls a MAC-10 out. Becomes front page news. It's actually funny. I was listening to the commentary on the 4K, and Ridley Scott was like, "Yeah, that's an animatronic baby, and we would never put a baby in this kind of sequence, you know."
Thank you.
Good commentary track. So this
damage control commentary tracks.
Speaking of damage control, so accountability must be had. So Clarice is she's put on desk duty, and Ray Liotta, who's a Department of Justice guy, he's actually he's a character in Silence of the Lambs. He's the guy who when the whole Anthrax Island thing goes tits up, when they're like when the FBI director's talking to Crawford, he's like, Paul Krendler's taking over from Justice, and it shows that shot of Paul Krendler, and it's like pulling in on him in his desk. Yeah. That's Ray Liotta.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Ray Liotta, he's the MVP here.
100%.
Brilliant. And on the commentary track, Ridley Scott was saying, what a joy it was to work with them. Ray Liotta was just so happy to be there.
And he's such a dick.
He's such a misogynist, homophobic piece of shit. Like he refers to Hannibal like he's like, I always thought this artsy fartsy crap was really queer, And he refers to Clarice as corn pone country pussy.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, because she rejected him once, and so he's after her. But really, oh my god, no, actually, the real MVP of the movie is Gary Oldman as Mason Verger.
Okay, you unlocked pretty much all the parts of the movie. I totally forgot he was part of this movie, but then
an uncredited Gary Oldman.
Why did they uncredit?
Because like what a fucking shock it is. Like you see this disfigured man, and then in the flashback, it's all fuzzy. It's kind of shot in like the more the Ridley Scott like hyperactive shit that like I'm not too much of a fan of. He's trying to go too Oliver Stone in those kind of situations.
I'm still stuck on the uncredited thing. So we get to the credits.
It's stunt casting.
So we get to the credits. Is it just not mentioned the character, or what does it say?
What? That's a very good question.
I do. Yeah,
I don't think he's in the end credits either.
They just ignore that character who's like maybe fourth lead.
Maybe I bet you like there's a credit for Mason Verger makeup effects or something. But that's it. Yeah. But yeah.
Would
so,
you like any papas?
Do you like a papa? Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Okay, like
why don't you peel your face off and feed it to the dogs?
I mean, it's so funny. Like I'm so confused by like the alliances when it gets to the scene of getting Hannibal. I'm like, wait. He's got Oldman's got his goons. Julianne Moore's got her team.
She's got herself actually.
Yeah, she's actually on her own.
Yeah, everybody else
because she was taken off the case.
Yeah,
very, very very stereotypical.
But then there's the Italian cop as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's weird about this movie?
Who's not interested in anything, honestly.
Yeah, he just wants to pay for opera tickets for his young wife, who loves money.
Hannibal could help with that. He could have.
I'm taking very serious consideration into eating your wife.
Also, another fact about Hannibal: he actually, once he got famous through comedy, his investment strategy was buying many commercial buildings.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about Hannibal.
Yeah, he talked about that on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Did Hannibal get in trouble for saying the F word at one point?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I think he might have.
Did he?
He's fine now, but
he's fine. It's funny that he doesn't do. He did comedy, and he had like 2 really good specials. I think the Cosby stuff was like the big thing of him kind of going like getting weird on comedy, just because he got so this weird attention that he wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And then his podcast had like a real musical element. He just had like a vocoder and like a beat pad, and he would just make terrible like loops. And
I was like, is Eric Andre putting you up to this, Hannibal?
No. This was all Hannibal. But it was probably around the same time that the Eric Andre show was starting. So it was probably just kind of mind melding occurring.
Okay, I get it.
And now he's literally just doing rap. As far as I'm aware.
I think you mentioned this like a year ago or so.
Yeah, I saw him open for Mark Rebier at the Greek Theater. It was so weird. It was kind of awesome. There's comedy in his raps, but there's a couple where I was like, just kind of. He's got a great song about "Hit a Bad Bitch with My Knee Brace On." It's a good song, dude.
So yeah, Hannibal.
This is not the way that I expected the bit to go.
Yeah, no, because we got like really serious there for a minute. I sobered up for a minute. But yeah, okay. So what I was gonna say was,
Hit a bad bitch with my knee brace on.
So, Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, and
Velcro Paw keeps catching the thumb.
and to an extent, Red Dragon, which they have very tight structures.
Mm.
Like narratively speaking, like when they cut to Buffalo Bill or the Tooth Fairy, they're going parallel to each other. The heroes and the villains are going parallel to each other. Jodie Foster and Hannibal don't meet till like what, an hour 40 into the movie?
yeah.
Like, because what happens is, so Hannibal's in Florence, Italy, and
So I want you to pin that, but the settings in Hannibal so mind numbing to me.
Okay,
like keeping track of the settings.
Oh, where you're at, yeah,
like where I am. Where's Julianne Moore? Where's I knew Hannibal was in Italy though. Sorry, where'd you say?
Florence.
Florence, Italy, the whole time. But realizing like, oh no, they're still in America.
we're in Quantico. We're in Virginia.
and then wherever Ray Liotta's like vacation house is.
Okay, I wanted to mention that because in the podcast I listened to, they mentioned that, and they're like, one of them was like, yeah, for some reason Clarice is staying over at Ray Liotta's house, and they're like, no, and he's like, no, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're at the same house, and then they like keep going back and forth with it, and he's like, we're taking too much time of it, so I'm just gonna be correct on this.
I'm just gonna assume I'm correct here.
But no, I think what it was the set designers were just lazy, and they're like, all right, we just need 2 regular homes here, so make a Ray Liotta house, make a Clarice house. Yeah, so but yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's only. You only really know where you're at because
when you're in Italy.
Yeah, when you're in Italy. Because then they're calling Mason Verger's guys, and they're in Albania with the pigs.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just such. We need. You're gonna hate this. We need the Russo brothers to put this in giant Comic Sans font across the whole screen, please.
Well, I guess that's what separates a real artist like Ridley Scott from the Russo brothers.
You got those mixed up. The real artists.
I don't give a shit anymore.
Cherry.
I'm not even gonna mention that other one. Cherry, I at least like enjoyed somewhat.
But sorry, I keep derailing you on.
Yeah. So there's the Italian cop who's on his trail because Hannibal killed the curator of some library. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to fill into his role, so he's investigating that. But I forget what the inciting thing is, but because Clarice is requesting tapes because she receives a letter from Hannibal with a certain perfume only from certain stores. So she calls the Florence cops to get tapes, and the Italian cop happens to see the tape as it's being recorded. And he sees Hannibal on the tape, and he's like, "Oh, FBI wants this." So he starts doing a little digging. He realizes Hannibal Lecter is in his grasps. Mm-hmm. So he finds this number online, internet.com, on the FBI website or whatever, and it somehow gets him into contact with Mason Verger's people. Mason Verger, we just mentioned Gary Oldman, but yeah, he's disfigured because Hannibal got him high and he didn't eat it. Yeah,
I was about to correct you and say Hannibal did nothing to it. Hannibal actually did absolutely nothing to him.
If Hannibal was charged with anything, he'd be charged with having drugs on him, I guess.
Yeah, dude. He would get the cult charges where they can't really get you on killing anybody, but the conspiracy to
whatever
some weird charge like that, which for sure doesn't exist in Italy.
Oh, did you realize? Because it's sort of alluded to, but Mason Verger's a pederast. In the show,
that rings a bell.
In the show, he likes to drink children's tears.
Oh,
yeah, that's part of the book as well.
That's a lot of children's tears to.
Yeah, what he does
to harvest.
What he does is
Ew.
what he does in the show, he brings children on field trips to his farm, is cuz he's like a butcher, like a
Mhm.
meat packer. Yeah, like he's rich, a meat packer. Stop it. Stop it. Well, yeah, it's a really interesting scene. Yeah, he takes one of the kids and he's like, okay, you know, your mommy and daddy don't want you anymore, you know, and so you're gonna live with me now. And the kid starts crying, and he's like, oh, hold still, hold still. He gets a little napkin and he captures the tear and he puts it in a little box, and then he puts it in like a like a
Just like a
like a
compress.
yeah
Just wrings it out.
yeah
Ew,
fucking
dude.
yeah really really weird. But so yeah, the cop he decides he wants to get Hannibal Lecter for the reward money. And of course, Hannibal. It's so funny. It's so funny when he's like, because Hannibal knows that he's onto him,
Mhm.
so he just acts as suspicious as possible.
It's not a. Is it in the library?
When
The scene you're talking about when he.
when he's trying to get, because he needs to get a fingerprint,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so he's like, he's coming for the former curator's luggage,
Mhm.
and Hannibal's gonna help him with it. Hannibal puts on gloves first, and Hannibal's not wearing shoes or socks, which is funny. And Ridley Scott explained like why he wanted it that way. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to see him be casual, you know. It's scarier that way, and it's like, is it though?
It's all right, dude. We're grasping at straws here. Well, like I think we're talking about the same scene, but it's like when they're just talking, and yeah, Hopkins is being suspicious as all hell,
Mm-hmm.
but then the detective like turns his back to him.
Fucking idiot. Oh,
Like,
this is a little
multiple
later. This is when he tried to capture him.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, but the scene where he doesn't where they're encountering each other, he's suspicious of him,
Yeah.
and yet he's just like, oh, looking at the architecture,
Yeah.
like you, like you don't live in Italy.
Hannibal's distracting him because that cop, he's part of a famous family in Florence who they were shamed because his ancestor betrayed, blah blah blah, and then he hung himself and his intestines were out, and then that's what happens to him.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happens to him. And then the movie just restarts when Hannibal gets to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a complete. It's back to a. It really just reverts back to Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon.
You know what? But not really, because there's really no chase. I mean, it's basically Hannibal chasing after Clarice.
Well, it's just like Hannibal in his House of Horrors.
Yeah.
And in Ray Liotta's house, kind of thing.
Which
I did really like when Julianne Moore's all drugged up, and like her multiple attempts at stabbing him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no. Calm down.
You might not want to bring a knife to the table, Clarice. Or oh fuck. Other. Oh god, man, my mind's just fried here.
It's because we're talking about Hannibal. We haven't even mentioned the Scary Movie 2 scene.
Oh wait, let's get to the pigs, the man-eating pigs.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Mason Verger wants revenge on the thing that he did to himself. That Hannibal, pushed him to. So,
wait, sorry. Can I probably shouldn't say this, but can I just go on record? Poppers don't do that.
Thank you.
Okay, just
you don't want to
cut that out.
You don't want to cut your face off and feed it to Nilla there.
No.
Dude, the way they do that in the show, it's hilarious. Like, it's intentionally hilarious too.
Good. Rightfully so. That whatever that writer was on when he wrote that's insane.
He must have been doing poppers or something and be like, you know what I wish these things would do?
Just pinching his cheek, just like,
I can't feel it.
I could do it.
It's oh man, it's so funny because the actor that they get to be Verger, he's a famous like weirdo actor from the early 2000s, and Like I've seen him in so many drugged up roles before that like when Hannibal's like in his face and like he's just like tripping out. He's like, "Oh!" And there's like little like fireworks going like and stuff. Yeah, it's really fun. But yeah, the man-eating pigs, and then
I mean, it's hard to talk about that scene just because like
there's so much going on.
Like watching that scene was like it reminded me of the scene in Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout, when everyone just shows up and people are shooting at each other.
Yeah.
Except I understand that scene.
Yeah. It's like, so who are we versus here?
Who are we mad at?
Because I don't know.
I'm kind of apathetic to all parties here.
I'm not really on Julianne Moore's side here.
Why are we saving Hannibal? Why?
Yeah.
Why are we saving Hannibal, dude?
Because
why not let him kill her?
This would be good for all of us.
Yeah, just it solves everything, and just being like, all she has to do is be like, I couldn't do anything.
You know what it is? It's just because. Because Mason Verger basically manipulated things to get her on the shit side of the FBI.
Wait, are we both remembering this incorrectly? Did Hannibal save Julianne Moore in that?
Yeah, he saves her.
Okay, so then that makes sense because I get why a psychopath would save the person trying to hunt them. Okay, yeah. I for some reason I was remembering it as Julianne Moore saves Hannibal.
She goes to save him, but then shit goes wrong. Yeah, and then Mason Verger, he's like, Cordell, shoot him. Cordell's his manservant that he's only treated like shit the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Hannibal, it's very hilarious. He's like, you could just push him in. You can always say it was me. He's like, and then it's funny. It's such a hacky thing because when you see the wheelchair fall, like you see the way it would be Verger would fall on his head, but then when it shows him, it is like right side up. Yeah. Very funny.
But I mean, like the laziness of Hannibal's character there, where we've already established that Hannibal is a master manipulator.
Yeah.
Where to the point where it's just like, you could just do this. It's like, really, that's what convinced him. It's like just does the Jedi mind trick.
And then the pigs are running all around.
You should kill the person who pays your salary. You should kill the person who pays your salary.
Well, in the show and in the book, I'll just say how they do in the show. So Cordell's a different character entirely. He has a different function in the show. He's still a doctor, but he's more on the side of Verger. But Mason Verger has a sister in the show who she sleeps with Will Graham because she wants to have a kid so she can take on the wealth once Mason's gone. But what Mason does is he takes out her uterus, and so she concocts a plan where I shit you not, they milk his prostate by shoving a cattle prod up his ass, so they can get his sperm. And then he's got these eels. His prized eels. And after they do that, they shove him in the vat of eels, and the eel goes in his throat and kills him. And the sister uses the sperm with her lover, and they have a child, and she inherits the wealth. Happy ending for them.
This has been Real Bad Taste. I'm sorry. Can we actually end on that?
We didn't even talk about the brain scene.
Damn it.
So yeah, Clarice is drugged up at Ray Liotta's house.
He's drugged up Shorty. Can we just talk about the Scary Movie 2 scene?
I don't know. The scene in Hannibal is way funnier.
I was surprised at how much it's similar.
It's 1-to-1, dude.
It's pretty on par.
The only thing it was missing was Beetlejuice inside of Ray Liotta's head. But yeah, Ray Liotta, he's acting like really strange at the dinner table. Hannibal's cooking up fucking I don't know what the hell he's cooking up.
Yeah, what was he cooking up initially?
I think there was like sodium pentothal in the food or something in the stew. I don't know. I don't know fucking know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does Ray Liotta say? I sent this to you last month. Says I don't know. He has Ray Liotta say grace, and he says something really misogynistic, and then Anthony Hopkins says, "Oh, Paul, the Apostle Paul couldn't have said it any better. He hated women too."
Man.
I love this movie. It sounds like I've been shitting on it more than Red Dragon, but like I do love this movie. It's a shit show. Yeah. But it's a beautiful shit show for the most part. And then Ray Liotta, he starts Hannibal starts sawing off his skull cap. And then he takes a piece of Ray Liotta's brain, puts it on the sizzler. And he feeds it to him.
I'll be honest. When I saw that scene, I was like, I'm glad I had Korean barbecue not too long ago, because it's gonna take me a minute. It's gonna take me a minute to get back to Korean barbecue after that, because like, well, doesn't he feed him something and Ray Liotta's like,
it's not very good, buddy.
And then he feeds him the brain, and he goes, "Oh,
yeah." He drinks the broth. And it's not very good, buddy. Yeah. Ray Liotta's so good in this movie, man. He understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And then there's a fake out where Ray Liotta's dead, I guess. You know, he's like losing brain power as you know, as time goes on. He's like,
it's like 5% brain capacity. The battery. He went into low power mode.
He went into low power mode, and then I love how Hannibal just puts him in a closet and throws a cloth over his face, and that's the end of Ray Liotta. But then, you know what? And I'm not a fan of this. I feel like this movie would be a lot, maybe even better if they went with the original ending. Just went batshit crazy with the original ending that I mentioned before, where Hannibal and Clarice, they get together in the end.
Oh yeah.
But because the way that they do it is like she handcuffs him, and then he's like, oh, this is gonna hurt, and then it's a fake out. He cuts his own hand off. Yeah. And she's like, and then it shows her, she's like, Clarice Starling, FBI. And it's like, well, that's not an ending for her. This looks really bad on her. Yeah. She's probably in worse, more dire straits than she was at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. Now. She should have just fucking left with Hannibal. And then he feeds the kid the brain, and then the movie ends.
Yep. This has been a real bad day. I'm sorry.
This has been a real bad day.